Hi everyone, and welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Elizabeth and I'm a holistic health and embodiment coach. I help women heal through a mind, body, and spirit approach by supporting nervous system regulation, gut and hormone health, self-love, embodiment, emotional healing, and reconnecting with their authentic selves. And today I want to talk about something that affects far more people than they realize, which is external validation. The need to be liked, approved of, chosen, recognized, praised, needed, accepted. Most people don't realize how much of their life is being driven by a need for validation from others. And this is very common in women. It can influence our relationships, our careers, our decisions, our boundaries, our self-worth, and often it begins long before adulthood. Today, we're going to explore where the need for external validation comes from, how it affects our lives, what Carl Jung, Edgar Cayce, and modern healing traditions can teach us about it, how Chiron's recent movement into Taurus may bring these wounds to the surface, and practical ways to begin healing them from the inside out. Let's dive into today's topic. So for part one, let's discuss what external validation actually is, for starters. External validation is looking outside of yourself for confirmation that you are good enough, worthy enough, lovable enough, successful enough, valuable enough, safe enough. It's allowing other people's opinions, approval, or reactions to determine how you feel about yourself. And many people spend their entire lives chasing it without even realizing it. It can be very subconscious. You may see it showing up as things like people-pleasing behaviors, perfectionism, overachieving, difficulty setting boundaries, fear of criticism, fear of rejection, constant comparison with others, needing reassurance, or constantly seeking approval before making decisions. The challenge is that external validation can never fully heal an internal wound, because no matter how much validation you may receive, it never feels like enough. But the awareness of it is information for your healing journey. So with that said, in part two, let's dive into where does this wound come from? In many cases, these patterns can begin in childhood. Children naturally seek connection and belonging. If love felt conditional growing up, we may learn things like, I must perform to be loved, I must achieve to be valued, I must take care of everyone else, I must be perfect, I must not make mistakes, I must not be too much, or sometimes it can look like, I must not have needs. These adaptations help us survive emotionally, yes, but what protects us as children often limits us as adults. The nervous system begins associating approval with things like safety and rejection with danger. This is why criticism can feel so painful. It often can be activating a much older wound that you have. On part three, let's look at how it shows up in adulthood. Many women carry these wounds for decades. You may find yourself staying in unhealthy relationships, overgiving, overworking, ignoring your needs, struggling to say no, constantly proving yourself, feeling guilty for resting, fearing judgment from others, or abandoning yourself to keep the peace. The difficult part is that these behaviors are often rewarded by society, even though they're unhealthy patterns that became societal norms. People praise the caretaker, the overachiever, the self-sacrificing woman, the helper, the fixer. But eventually, the soul and the body can become exhausted, and what once felt like survival or wearing the mask of what was expected of you starts feeling like self-abandonment and a lack of healthy boundaries and self-love or self-care. On part four, let's connect Carl Jung and the persona to this topic. Carl Jung's teachings help us to understand this beautifufully because Carl Jung taught about the persona. The persona is the mask that we create to gain acceptance and belonging from others. Being the good girl, the people pleaser, the caretaker, the achiever, the peacekeeper, the strong one. These identities often develop because they helped us to receive love, approval, or safety. The problem is not the persona itself. The problem is forgetting who we are underneath it. Healing begins when we ask questions like, who am I without the performance? Who am I without the approval? Who am I beneath the role? Jung called this the process of individuation, the journey of becoming who you truly are. And if you haven't reached this realization before the age of, say, around your 40s to 50s, you most likely will feel the weight of the mask or the persona by then and feel a strong urge to heal and begin to make changes in your life. On part 5, let's next discuss Edgar Cayce's perspective on this, because Edgar Cayce, also known as the sleeping prophet or psychic, who was an Akashic Records reader, frequently spoke about life as a journey of the soul development. He believed many of our challenges were opportunities for growth and self-awareness. From Cayce's perspective, external validation often distracts us from the deeper lesson. The soul is not here to earn worth. The soul is here to remember it. When we constantly seek validation outside of ourselves, from others, we may become disconnected from our own internal guidance. Healing often involves learning to trust ourselves, to listen inward, to honor our intuition, and to recognize that our worth is inherent. It's not something that must be earned. In part 6, let's now add in the aspect of Chiron entering the sign of Taurus, because this topic becomes especially relevant with Chiron's recent movement into the sign of Taurus. Taurus governs things like self-worth, security, stability, the body, values, resources, receiving. And from June of 2026 through September of 2026, we'll get a brief glimpse for a few months before it retrogrades. And then again, after Chiron returns into Taurus in April of 27, all the way through May of 2034. During this time period, many people may begin confronting deeper wounds around things like worthiness, deservingness, scarcity, body image, money, self-value, or receiving support. This transit may reveal places where you've been looking outside of yourself for proof that you are enough, or external validation. The invitation is to begin building worth from within, not from achievements, not from relationships, not from external approval, but from an authentic relationship with yourself. You do not need a permission slip from anyone to make you feel like you are worthy just as you are. In part 7, I want to discuss the spiritual lesson in this, because many spiritual traditions teach that life mirrors our inner beliefs. The law of correspondence states, as within, so without. If we secretly believe we are unworthy, we often manifest and attract experiences that reflect that belief as a mirror to our wounding, not as a punishment, but as an opportunity for awareness. Healing begins when we stop asking, how can I get others to validate me? And start asking, why do I believe I need their validation in the first place? That question can change everything and is a healing invitation to do a deep dive and journaling practice around it to discover where the root of it comes from. So next, let's discuss how to begin healing the wound of this nature. Here are a few practices that I can recommend that you might find helpful. First of all, start to notice where you're seeking approval. Become aware of your patterns. Awareness creates choice. When you notice yourself seeking validation or approval, make note of it and the specific situation that triggered it for discovery. Number 2, strengthen your self-trust. Practice making small decisions without seeking reassurance. Build confidence in your own inner wisdom. Your own inner guiding system and intuition is far more accurate and reliable on what's right for you and your journey than any source outside of you could be. Your soul will always try to lead you in the right direction if you connect and listen hard enough. Number 3, learn to tolerate disapproval from others. And this can be a tough one. No one likes to be criticized or told they're wrong. However, we all know people love to give their opinions even when they're not asked for or welcomed, especially when they're of a negative nature. Not everyone will understand your growth, your decisions, or your journey, and that is okay. It's yours, it's not theirs. And all you can do is thank them for their advice and let them know that you're ultimately going to do what you feel is in your best interest, even if they don't happen to agree with you. Number 4, reconnect with your body. Many validation wounds live within the nervous system, so the nervous system and regulation can be so important in this healing. Try things like walking regularly, doing breathwork practices, meditation, journaling practices, somatic practices, being in nature as much as you can. They all help create internal safety. Number 5, practice self-validation. When you catch yourself wanting external validation or approval from someone, pause and ask yourself, what do I think? What do I need? What feels true for me? Before asking others. If there's one thing I hope you take away from today's conversation, it's this. Your worth is not something that you earn. It's something that you remember. You are not valuable because of what you achieve. You are not worthy because someone chooses you. You are not enough because others approve of you. You are worthy simply because you exist. You are one with the great creator, and no one can make you feel inferior or unworthy unless you give your power away and allow them to do so. The healing journey often involves peeling away the layers of conditioning that taught you otherwise. As Chiron continues moving through themes of self-worth and security in the coming years, many people will be invited to heal these wounds at a much deeper level. And while that process can feel uncomfortable, it can also be incredibly liberating, because freedom begins the moment that you stop outsourcing your worth. And my soon to be launched Shadow Work and Inner Healing course will be a helpful resource in helping to guide you through this process. So stay tuned for its release. And if this message resonated with you today, I'd love to hear from you in the comments below. Let me know, have you ever struggled with seeking external validation? What part of this journey are you currently working through right now? And if you're looking for support, be sure to check out my resources like my coaching programs, my wellness membership, my upcoming course, and other resources that I have linked for you below. Everything I create is designed specifically to help women reconnect with themselves, regulate their nervous systems, heal from the inside out, and begin to create lives rooted in a sense of authenticity and self-trust. If you enjoyed this video today, don't forget to like, subscribe, and please share it with someone who you think may need this message today. Thank you so much for being here and for being a part of this growing community. This is your weekly reminder to do something today that brings you joy. Take care, and I will see you in the next video.